I agreed to help my neighbor's teen daughter with her college essays. She was smart, driven. Then I noticed entire paragraphs taken from my daughter's journals, private writings she'd never shared. When we asked how she got them, she said she left them lying around. But my daughter only wrote in a password-protected app. Then I found a Keylogger on her laptop, installed when she babysat for us. It's not stealing if you deserve it more, her mother told me. We live in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a town where people still rake their own leaves and wave at the mailman. I've lived here long enough to know which neighbors shovel their sidewalks and which ones let ice pile up. It's quiet. People keep to themselves. You'd never expect a storm to come from across the street. I'm 45. My wife, Tara, is 43. We've been together since college. She's a middle school English teacher. I work for a logistics company. It's not exciting, but it pays the bills and gives us time to be around for our daughter, Janie. Janie's always been the kind of kid who hides behind books. Never loud. Never dramatic. When other kids were posting every thought on Snapchat, she was writing poems and short stories in a journaling app she locked with a password and Face ID. Her words were the only place she ever really opened up. We never read her stuff. Not unless she showed us. Once in a while, she'd read Tara something she was proud of. That was it. She guarded that app like it held her soul. I guess it did. Everything started when our neighbor Denise asked if her daughter Callie could come by a few nights a week to work on college essays. I'd known Callie since she was little. Blonde ponytail, honor roll, swim team, all of it. She used to babysit Janie when Janie was still in elementary school. She seemed nice. A little smug sometimes, like she knew she was going places and didn't mind if everyone else knew it too. But she was respectful. She called me Mr. Evans. Said thank you. Always smiled. I didn't think twice when she started coming over to get help on her essays. I told her what I tell every kid: the best essays are the ones that tell the truth. Real stories. Honest ones. I didn't expect her to take that advice and twist it into something disgusting. She brought over a draft one Tuesday night in October. It was about losing a twin at birth and feeling like a ghost sibling haunted her. It hit hard. It felt raw. But something was off. I didn't realize what until 2 days later, when Janie asked Tara for help organizing her own writing folder. Janie read something aloud, something she'd written months ago, and it hit me like a punch. It was the same damn story. Not word for word, but damn close. Same grief. Same tone. Same metaphor about a second shadow that never leaves. I froze. I asked Tara, where did she write that? Her journal, she said. She showed it to me last spring. Remember? I did. And I remembered she wrote it in that locked journaling app on her laptop. I tried not to panic. I wanted to believe it was a coincidence. But Callie dropped off another essay draft a few nights later. This one about anxiety. About trying to be perfect so people won't leave. Again I knew the voice. That's when I stopped pretending. I stayed up that night digging through Janie's files. I asked her permission. She was hesitant, but when I told her I thought Callie might have copied her writing, she nodded. But how? I don't share it. I don't post it. I checked her laptop. I'm no tech guy, but I know a few things. I ran Malwarebytes. That's when I found it, a Keylogger program hidden deep in her system files. I checked the install date. October 7th. Callie babysat that night. She watched TV with Janie, made popcorn, and tucked her in. That was the night she must have used a USB to plug it in. She didn't just steal an idea. She stole everything: Janie's private words, her fears, her truth. She watched it all come in, word by word, for weeks. And she copied it, piece by piece, into her own essays. I told Tara. She cried. We both did. We sat Janie down. We told her what we found. I'll never forget the look on her face, like the floor had disappeared under her. "She didn't even take the parts that matter," Janie whispered. "Just the ones that sound like a sad story." We called Denise the next morning. Tara was shaking. She told her everything, about the Keylogger, the copied essays, the betrayal. Denise didn't deny it. Not for 1 second. She just said, "It's not stealing if you deserve it more." I almost dropped the phone. "She needs this," Denise said. "Your daughter has 2 parents with good jobs. She'll be fine. Callie's worked her ass off. She's not going to let someone with a sob story beat her just because she has better software." I hung up before I said something I'd regret. But that night, I swore I would say something. I would do more than that. Because they didn't just cheat my daughter out of a story. They invaded her mind. Her heart. They treated her like a tool. A stepping stone. And now? They're going to learn what happens when you step on the wrong family. I didn't go to work the next day. I sat in the basement with a notebook and started planning. I knew I couldn't go straight to the colleges Callie was applying to, not yet. If I made a formal complaint without proof, I'd sound like a bitter neighbor trying to sabotage a teenage girl. No one would believe me, not without hard evidence. And Denise was the kind of woman who'd lie through her teeth with a smile and call me emotional. So I needed proof. All of it. I called an old friend from college who now works in IT security. I told him the situation and asked how I could retrieve the Keylogger logs, what Callie had seen, copied, or accessed. "Depends on how sophisticated it was," he said. "But if you got a timestamp and logs, you've probably got everything." He was right. I spent 2 days digging. And then I found it. The folder was buried in a hidden directory on Janie's laptop, named something stupid like system_backup_2. But inside? Every keystroke she typed. Every journal entry. Every password. Every late-night sentence written in pain. And one more thing. A list of IP addresses the logs were sent to. Guess whose Comcast account was linked to that IP? Denise. Her home Wi-Fi. Callie didn't even try to cover her tracks. Now I had evidence. Not just of plagiarism. Not just of spying. But of unauthorized access to a minor's personal device. It was, without a doubt, a federal crime. I printed everything. I stored the digital files on 3 flash drives. One for me. One for Tara. One in a safe deposit box. Now it was time to figure out what Callie had done with those essays. I asked Janie to show me a list of the colleges she knew Callie was applying to. Most were Ivy Leagues or top-tier schools. Princeton, Yale, Northwestern, and one that stood out, Columbia. That rang a bell. 2 weeks earlier, Denise had posted on Facebook. "So proud of Callie! Just finished her Columbia early decision application. Fingers crossed." I opened Columbia's admissions page. The deadline had already passed. If Callie submitted the essay using Janie's words, they had it. I just needed to prove it. And I had an idea how. Tara reached out to Callie's English teacher at the high school. She said she was concerned about something and wanted to know if Callie had submitted anything for her college essay unit in class. The teacher said yes. Happily forwarded a copy. Tara almost vomited reading it. Because it was Janie's story. The same exact piece from her journal. Just dressed up with Callie's name at the top and a few sentences tweaked to sound edgy. Now we had a copy she officially turned in at school. Now we had proof that this wasn't just a neighbor dispute. This was identity theft. Academic fraud. And if we played our cards right, Callie wouldn't just lose her spot at Columbia. She'd lose her entire future. But it wasn't enough for me to burn her without warning. I needed to see them squirm. So I invited Denise and Callie over. Said we needed to talk. They showed up that Saturday afternoon. Denise with her usual smug grin. Callie wearing a Columbia hoodie like it was already hers. We sat in the living room. Tara didn't say a word. Janie stayed upstairs. I handed Denise a manila envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Proof," I said. She flipped through it. I watched the smirk slide off her face. IP logs. Keystroke transcripts. Side-by-side comparisons of Janie's journal entries and Callie's essay drafts. The forwarded email from the teacher. And last, most damning, a breakdown of the wire fraud laws she'd violated by accessing a minor's private device and transmitting that data across state lines. "You think this will hold up?" Denise said, voice shaking now. "I don't have to wonder," I said. "Because I've already sent a copy to Columbia's admissions office. And the Harrisburg DA's office. You'll be hearing from both." Callie burst into tears. "This isn't fair. I needed this." "No," I said, standing. "What's not fair is stealing someone's pain and turning it into your victory." Then I told them to leave. They left. But it wasn't over. I was just getting started. I thought that confrontation would be the end of it. That once Denise and Callie saw how much we knew, how carefully we had built the case, they'd crawl away and deal with the mess they made. But I underestimated just how far some people will go when their world starts to crumble. 3 days after that meeting, I got a call from Columbia University. The voice on the line was calm, professional. "We've received your submission regarding a potential case of plagiarism and digital misconduct," the woman said. "Our Admissions Integrity Office is opening an investigation. If your documentation is verified, it will affect the applicant's status." It was happening. I should have felt relief. But 2 nights later, someone broke into my truck. They didn't steal anything. They didn't smash a window. But when I opened the driver's side door at 6:30 a.m. to head to work, there was a single manila envelope on the seat. Inside? A printed copy of Janie's journal entry, the one Callie stole, with "Copyright isn't ownership" scribbled across it in red Sharpie. That was the moment I realized this wasn't over. It had just changed shape. Tara was furious. Janie was terrified. She kept checking her window locks. I reported it to the police, but without fingerprints or surveillance footage, they couldn't do much. I had a feeling Denise had someone do it for her, one of those neighborhood kids who owed her favors or babysat for her too. She had her fingers in everything. So I installed cameras. One above the garage. One on the porch. One facing the street. And I kept going. I got in touch with a lawyer who specialized in cybercrime and academic fraud. I handed over everything. Copies of the data, the proof of Keylogger installation, the email confirmations from the schools. He told me something I didn't know. Because Callie had submitted Janie's writing to schools for financial aid consideration, she might have committed scholarship fraud on top of everything else. "That's federal," he said. "And if the schools want to push it, they could press charges." I didn't care if Callie got jail time. I wasn't after handcuffs. I was after her future. 2 weeks later, we got word Columbia rescinded her early admission. They flagged her application across the Ivy League Common Database. And it spread faster than I expected. That's when the emails started. From teachers. From school counselors. Even from other parents. Turns out, Callie hadn't just stolen from Janie. She had a pattern. One teacher forwarded us a sophomore year essay from Callie that matched a Tumblr post from another student in Oregon, word for word. Another parent said their daughter quit the debate team after Callie started borrowing her research and beating her with her own words. It wasn't just one-time theft. It was a habit. A strategy. And Denise had known the whole time. Then came the school board meeting. I didn't even plan to go until Tara saw a flyer on Facebook. "Support Callie, wrongly accused." Denise had organized it. A community discussion about fairness and stress in college admissions. I showed up. And I brought copies. The meeting wasn't what she expected. Not even close. People asked questions. I answered them. Calmly. Quietly. I handed out copies of Callie's essay alongside Janie's original. I had the teacher who confirmed the match. I had timestamps. I had digital forensics. At one point, Denise stood up, red-faced and trembling. "This is a witch hunt." "No," I said loud enough for the whole room to hear. "This is what happens when you raise a daughter to think other people's pain is hers to profit from." The room went silent. She stormed out. But the last twist? That came a week later. A letter arrived in the mail, hand-delivered. Not from Denise. From Callie. It was 3 pages long. Written in blue ink, sloppy, rushed. It wasn't an apology. Not really. It was a last-ditch effort to justify what she did. She said she felt invisible. That Janie had everything: 2 parents, a quiet house, a future. She said she borrowed the words because they felt like they could have been mine. And at the end she wrote, "If I can't have the future I worked for, then neither should she." That's when I realized Callie wasn't done. She was just wounded. And a wounded animal still bites. I kept that letter. Not because it meant anything, but because I wanted to remember what it looked like when a kid crossed the line and never came back. After we read it, Tara burned a copy in the fire pit out back. Janie didn't even want to read it. She just said she already took enough. By then, the fallout had started to spread. Callie's rejection from Columbia became the first of many. Yale followed. Then Princeton. By December, all the top-tier schools dropped her applications. They didn't want anything to do with her. Her GPA stayed. Her SAT score stayed. But her future? Gone. Because no college wants a student who cheats at that level and then lies about it. I should have felt satisfied. But I didn't. Not yet. Because Janie was still struggling to write. Still second-guessing every sentence, wondering if her words would be stolen again. That's when I made one more mistake. I posted the story online. Not here. Not under my real name. Just a simple breakdown, on a private parents group forum, of what had happened, how a neighbor's kid had used spyware to steal my daughter's writing for college essays. I didn't name names. But Mechanicsburg's not that big. It didn't take long before people connected the dots. And once they did, everything got worse, for them. And for us. Denise lost her job. She worked in HR at a nearby tech company. When the story spread, someone at her office pulled her social media history, found the Support Callie flyer, and reported her. She was let go. For behavior not in line with company values. She tried to blame us. Said we'd destroyed her life. But she never once said sorry. Callie didn't go to prom. She didn't walk at graduation. Rumor was, she finished high school online to avoid the whispers. I heard she applied to some community colleges under a different name. Some school far from here. I don't care where. I hope wherever she is, she remembers every word she stole, and how it felt to lose everything for them. But we paid a price too. People stopped talking to us at church. Some parents thought we overreacted. Said we ruined a teenager's future over an essay. I almost believed them. Until one night I walked past Janie's room and saw her typing again. Really typing. Not just for school, but for herself. She was writing a story. A new one. And she was smiling. I knocked and asked, "What's it about?" She looked at me, eyes steady. "It's about a girl," she said, "who had her voice stolen. But she got it back. Louder this time." That's when I knew. We didn't just protect her. We gave her power. And no one, not Callie, not Denise, not the whole damn town, could take that from her now. Would I do it all again? Yes. Even with the backlash. Even with the stress. Because some lessons cost a lot, but the people who learn them the hard way, they never forget. Callie tried to take my daughter's words. So we made sure the world heard the truth louder than the lies. And now? That truth will follow her forever. Just like she planned. Only this time, it's not her story. It's ours.